A man casually looked up at the sky on the way home from his work. What spread before his eyes was a perfect, starry sky without a cloud in sight. How long has it been since I last looked at a starry sky? He had been up to neck with work for months. As he looked at those twinkling stars, he felt a quiet joy in his heart. From that day onward, it became his custom to gaze at the stars from the balcony of his apartment after work. One night, he noticed that in the apartment building opposite of his, there was a woman who was gazing up at the sky from her room, in the same manner as he was doing. She must love looking at the night sky too. He felt a friendly feeling towards her. He continued to gaze at the stars whenever he had a chance, and as the days went by, his interest in the woman in the opposite building grew too. In fact, he became almost infatuated with her. The reason was because every time he went out on the balcony to look at the sky, she was also there, looking at the sky. I wonder what kind of person she is. She must know that I'm also here looking at the sky. He couldn't contain his desire to get to know her any longer. He decided to visit her room. Feeling butterflies in his stomach, he headed toward her room. When he arrived, he pressed the doorbell, but there was no answer, no matter how many times he pressed it. He impulsively grabbed hold of the doorknob. Surprisingly, the door was unlocked. He timidly peered into the room. It was almost completely dark inside. Only the moonlight through the window was casting a pale light on the woman. But he froze the moment he saw her. The woman was dead, hanging from the ceiling by the window. She looked as though she was standing there gazing up at the starry sky. A short and sweet story, not bad, not bad. We're doing things a little bit differently today. I sourced this story from a website called Saya in Underworld. I believe it is a Japanese blogger who finds urban legends in Japan and translates them to English. That might be the reason why the sentences didn't flow too well, in my opinion. It was a little bit choppy to read. I had to actually re-record a bunch of lines just because I kept tripping over my own words. This story was great. It was a little bit telegraphed. I mean, the woman being there every night, it was fairly obvious that, she was dead. But I did like that this story didn't drag out too long. And the punchline, she was there gazing at the starry sky. I mean, that pretty much nails it. Even though it was pretty telegraphed, it still gave me a really creepy feeling, especially as he approached the apartment building. I mean, anything could happen. I could almost visualize what was happening. And it did give me a little bit of the creeps, definitely. Not so much the spooks or the scares yet, but very well done. Maybe I'm just very visual with my interpretations of stories, because as I read them, I tend to sort of picture them in my head, so definitely very creepy. So I also include a picture to go along with this pasta, and that sort of gave me a clearer visual on what the man potentially saw, and that was definitely very creepy. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Very enjoyable story. There was once a couple on a date who decided on a whim to visit a haunted place, just to have some fun. But once they got there, they had a fallout, and the boyfriend angrily drove away, leaving the girlfriend behind in the haunted place. A few minutes later, however, he calmed down, realizing it wasn't a good idea to have left her all alone in a haunted place in the middle of the night. He made a U-turn to go back to the haunted place. She was still there, and they soon made up and decided to drive back home together. On the way back, they saw a boy waving his hand at them, but instead of showing his palm, he was showing the back of his hand while he waved. Poor boy. I wonder what he's doing at this time of night. We should give him a lift, the girlfriend said. No way. Don't you know that if someone is doing an action that is in reverse to how it is normally done, then that someone is not of this world? Replied the boyfriend. Wow, really? How come you know so much? The girlfriend clapped her hands. She was hitting the back of her hands together. Again, another short and sweet story from Saya in Underworld. This was a story translated by Saya. I don't believe that they actually came up with the story. But once again, great story. Nice and short, gets to the point. Does give me the little creeps here and there. They included that picture of the person clapping their hands backwards on TV, supposedly. And that was a pretty good visual key to the story. I thought it was creepy enough. It did its job. Once again, I wish the story maybe was a little bit longer, but it's still not a bad story. Definitely one of the types of stories that my uncles would tell me when I was a kid, just to creep me out. Overall, I would give this story probably, once again, maybe a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Just for entertainment value. I highly recommend you guys visit Saya in Underworld's website. It's a great little blog containing a lot of Japanese urban legends and creepy stories. They're a good read. They are a little bit hard to read sometimes because the translations, the sentences don't flow well, but still worth a read, still worth a visit. I think it's great. And I do think I will be reading a lot more of these stories. More so than the creepypasta side. Anyways, if you guys like the content, make sure you guys like the video, sub if you haven't already, and leave a comment letting me know what you guys want me to do next. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.